Well, welcome back to Emerge to Live in Your Purpose. Well, I have to admit, today coming on has been a bit of a challenge this morning. I had notes, I did some studying, and have notes all up on the screen. Been reflecting this week and trying to figure out, well, what is it I'm supposed to share today? I'm like, Lord, this one is just not flowing at all. And the last thing I want to do is come on and waste somebody's time. Not about that at all. But today, as I thought about it and going back and forth with God, all the way up to this point, just looking here at the camera as if I'm talking to God. It's like, well, Lord, what is it this time? And it seemingly came to me to just simply share from your heart. This journey, this process is about, it's not always going to be flowing as you like. It's going to take time. And when I think about this week, I got in a little funk, because it's like I wanted to see some things progress, some traction. I've been at it for this, if I go all the way back to the beginning of this year and wanting to see some steps that I've taken, some further traction, but it doesn't always happen that quick. We've been talking about over these last few weeks, Daniel, and how he had a great commitment to God. He was disciplined. He was determined, but yet he was in the middle of a situation that he did not like. And we're all in some kind of situation that we don't like, but we have to continue on this journey of life and progress. And I had on the screen, I had in my notes, these little alliteration points, faith, focus, and future. Also accompanied by looking at destiny, but first looking at decisions, determination. That's going to lead to destiny. So I had all these little words that I was going to use, but I'm like, well, the Lord is like, well, you can have those, but what's in your heart? What are you dealing with right now? And what is it that you're really trying to press through that's from your heart that people can relate to, that they can identify with? So that's what caused me to have to back up and say, okay, Lord, it's you. Whatever it is you want me to do, I'm open and available right now. You work through me. And we all know sometimes we don't like to just be put out there and seemingly kind of operating off the cuff. Well, in this case, it's like the Spirit of God. You got to work because it's not me, it's you. But also, I want to mention to you that as I have been on this journey, I have really paid attention to. Hopefully, we all are reflecting and reviewing things that help us to see clearly where we need to make some adjustments. We need to readjust some things. So this is the irony for me. I've taught a business communications class now for over 5 years. And perhaps what has been a brick wall today for me is that as I've been watching my own videos and analyzing myself, I see how critical it is to have good communication. You have to make points, you have to flow, you have to be coherent, you want to be concise. But I'm thinking about all these terms that I teach in my class, and I'm like, okay, am I violating my own teaching to my students by not being those things I need to be in this video? Coherent, provide clarity, be clear. But that's a whole nother point, but I just thought I would share it. Also want you to think about in your journey, how you're progressing right now. Are you continuing in faith? Are you continuing to have focus? Are you putting a lot of attention on your future? Because this week, as I thought about and listened to a video about focus, and I realized how much we do live in a world that there's a lot of distractions. And then rolling back and looking at faith, if we're not careful, everything around us can get our attention to cause us to be faithless. And we don't want to be operating that way. We want to have actions that display our faith, what we putting our attention on as it relates to perhaps our purpose and our life that God has ordained for us. are we moving in that direction? Again, another question is, how much are we doing things today that relate to our future? So those, again, were some things I prepared. But again, God said, hold up on some of that. Just talk from your heart. Just talk from that place of, you can be frustrated on this journey, but that is still part of the process. Can any of us identify and relate to, I'm not really where I want to be in life. I don't feel like I have all the flexibility and the freedom to pursue the things that I feel completely that I'm supposed to be operating in. Have you been there? Are you there now? Or you might just simply feel that there are some other things that I'm supposed to be doing, but I can't seem to get on that path. Well, the journey is going to include difficulties. It's going to include some distractions. It's going to include some moments of uncertainty, some barriers. But as I close, again, it's just simple talking to you today from my heart. I had to go back and look at my book and look at stories I referred to, and Nehemiah came up as well as Zacchaeus. And Nehemiah, he had something burning in his heart so much. And I'm quite sure if you go back and look at the story, you will see that he dealt with a lot of challenges. Again, he was in a condition that was, again, similar to Daniel. He was the cupbearer for the king, a highly important position that the king had to trust in him. But he had to go to this authority that was not representing God to still be able to do things that he felt in his heart to do, that in the end, he was able to accomplish them. But even on the journey, he had some issues, some challenges. So as I close, and just want to share with you, Nehemiah had a very similar scenario. Well, no, it wasn't similar. If I think about Esther, it might be a little more similar. But Zacchaeus, he wanted to see Jesus. He wanted an encounter. We think about this story, there's such a symbolism here that in order for us to be positioned with God, we have to make some efforts. We have to pursue, we have to elevate ourselves. We have to get in an arrangement with him or an alignment with him that we can have an encounter with him. So again, on this journey, you have challenges, you work through them, you keep on the course. And if you're on this journey with me to transformation, you're going to understand you have some good days, you have some not so good days, but you keep at it. The actions you are taking today is moving you to that better, that brighter future, that better version of yourself. And I hope to see you someday at that place you've always desired that you have arrived to. So until next time, stay the course, and I'll see you in the next video.